So I figured I'd start this by just talking about myself, who I am, and over the years, I've worked for an aerospace company for probably the last 12, 13 years. I've done all sorts of projects, handled multiple millions of dollars worth of projects, installing equipment and doing all sorts of things. Everything from chemical processing, heat treatment of aluminum, uh, paint, welding, just a little bit of everything. And I've been pretty mechanical my entire life. And then I originally got into C10s back my first truck. I found it on, I think it was Craigslist at the time. My mom made me call the guy. I was so scared, gun shy, that I didn't want to, but she made me do it, and that was a good thing. That kind of got me a little more comfortable. Bought my first square body for $1,000, and I drove it for years. I drove it from the time I was 16 all the way up until probably in my early 20s. And then from there, I thought, oh, maybe I should get a new truck. Bought a new truck. Didn't really care for it much. Didn't really treat it the best either. That's on me. That's being young. But used to take that two-wheel drive square body. Used to take it and put it on the back roads before school. And it was a great truck. It was a good learner truck. I bounced off an embankment a time or two, ended up in a ditch a time or two, and it never really carried. And then a little later on, after that newer truck that I bought, I got rid of it as soon as I realized these car payments are stupid. And then the next one I bought, an old teacher of mine had this thing, and it was mostly hooked to a hay trailer its whole life. So I bought this K20 out of the field, no AC, had a 350, four speed, the Granny Low SM465, had a 14 bolt rear end. Great truck, lifted up 6 inches, put it on 37 Toyos. I drove it for probably 5-6 years. And the kind of in between that, I built a 1946 GMC rat rod, and it was a 1.25 ton truck that I bought out of Mississippi. And it was a project truck for this guy, and it had been flooded, it was rotted. I didn't even know what I did. I don't even know what I was thinking when I bought this thing, but I ended up replacing the back belt line, and kind of got it running using Ford, Chevy, and Dodge parts. Kind of put it on a Dodge frame for a D250. It had a 5.9 Cummins, which is the one that's sitting in this truck behind me. It just won't die. And then from there, I had a Corvette. That was fun. I actually bought it because I was going to college at the time, and I did the math, and it was one of the lowest depreciating cars that I could buy, because I was looking at Honda, I was looking at Toyota. But what I figured out was it was one of the lowest depreciation cars I could buy that was cool, that was interesting. So I bought one with like 36,000 miles, and I ended up selling it for about the same what I bought it for after COVID, and did really well on it. I basically had a car for free. All I had to do was pay for insurance for that entire time. And then from there, I wanted to get into another vehicle. So I found I figured, I'll find something not running and just get it fixed. And I've always wanted a crew cab square body. Now I've got 2 crew cab square bodies. But I bought one that it was 4-door, it was white, it was in the lemon lot, and it wasn't running right. And so I go, and this gentleman had this truck. He tried to help me start it, and it ended up backfiring through the TBI, and the intake caught on fire. And I bought it anyway. It was like $3,500. And then I drove it for years. Actually took my wife all the way from Northwest Florida, like kind of the Crestview area. We drove all the way to Buc-ee's and Loxley, Alabama, and then we kept going all the way to New Orleans on the same night. And and then from there, we ended up getting married and everything else, but she hated that truck. The whole time that we were driving, it was a cold. It was like early February. It was probably like 20 degrees that 20 degrees that night, and so the heat would bake you out. And because this thing's a 454, I think it had like 411 or 456 gears, so I would be pegged out on the interstate going down the road, and it'd just be bouncing off a red line. And so the heat that could come off that engine was just insane. So I was turning the heat on, turning the heat off for her, turning the heat on, turning the heat off for her. But we went and we did that, and from there we got married and kind of built a house and had a son. And that's really why I left where I was working. I saw so many people miss so many ball games and so much time with their kids that I just didn't want to be like that. And so now I'm just kind of figuring out what I'm gonna do. And so I've picked up a few square bodies, and right now I'm working on some mounts and some conversions for some Power Stroke frames. But just hang in with me, and I'm gonna see what I can grow this business into. And if you can hear it, my son over here decided he needs some attention, and then this is the end of the video. Anyway, thank you. Bye.